Hi, I'm Hamilton Bean, Director of the International Studies Program, and I'm here with Simone FM Spinner, who is an internationally renowned wine expert and who teaches what we call in our department the Wine and Climate Change class. She's teaching this for us now this semester, and we'll be teaching it again in the fall of 2020. So welcome, Simone.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about this class that you're teaching now and that you'll be teaching again in the fall.
Okay, so the class is called From Grapes to Wrath, Wine in the Age of Climate Change, and it's based on my doctorate dissertation work that I'm in the middle of. And basically I take students through an 8,000-year history of wine from the very earliest days to the current issues that are happening in traditional winemaking.
Okay, fantastic. And so what are some of the things that the students do in the class?
The class is based on an interactive discussion model. So a lot of what we do is before the class meeting, we'll read a few articles and then we'll come to class and talk about what we've learned. Starting with the history for about 4 weeks, we talk about the history of wine from early China and early Syria, all through Europe, and then as it migrated into what's known as the New World. And we learn about the culture and the identity and geopolitical, socioeconomic things that go into that. And then we segue from there into learning a little about the aesthetics and the neuroscience of tasting wine. So even though we're not tasting wine in class, we learn how to taste wine, why our brain reacts to wine the way it does, how to properly identify wine, and then hopefully in homework scenarios, people discover what they like.
Okay, so that's how. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think students will be very eager to hear that drinking wine is part of their homework.
Drinking wine is part of their homework. Great. We don't drink wine in class, but I definitely give them optional homework with a lot of interaction. You know, I'm available to discuss their wine experiences with them. And then this semester, before going online, the students would come in and that would be the first thing we discussed for the first 10 minutes of class was all of their different experiences, learning the right vocabulary, how to talk about wine in a more professional, educated way. So it demystifies wine and it takes that insecurity away.
Well, it's definitely a class that I think I should take.
You should.
I'm glad you mentioned this. You know, right now the university is still planning on on-campus instruction in the fall, but if the class has to move to a remote format, is this going to be workable for your class?
It's been a more seamless transition than I expected it to be because it is so discussion-based. But with Canvas, we've got the discussion boards. Almost everybody is interacting pretty regularly with that, you know, and it also, the one thing I like about that, it gives people a little bit more time to formulate their thoughts and their questions and their answers. So I think my class is better in person, but it's also very, very good in the online format. So okay. Either would work.
Okay, great. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, you have a very unique expertise. So I'm sure students would like to hear a little bit more about you.
Okay. It all started with this bottle of wine.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Everybody who's in wine talks about that one wine that really sucked them into the business. And mine was Perrier-Jouet Champagne. I got to try it. I was working in the entertainment industry and I got to try this wine in a very interesting scenario. And I fell in love with it. And I knew that I was going to get out of the entertainment business, get into the wine business. And when I got into the wine business, I decided to go ahead and not just work in the industry, but I earned 13 wine certifications. And I designed the first wine degree for Metro State University. And then I got my master's at UC Denver studying the aesthetics of wine, so is wine art. And now I'm working on a PhD in wine and climate change. So there's a theme, it's all about wine. And I did work in the industry buying and selling. I've made wine, been all over the world. wine regions, studying wine from all over Europe to China to all over the United States and all over Canada.
Wow. So
I've
there's literally no one better in the world to teach this class than you, is my impression.
I don't think so. I designed it. I'm writing about it. It's what I've devoted my whole life to. So I think I'm the best person to teach the class.
Speaking of your writing, I noticed that your Denver food book is sitting on the shelf above you.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that volume?
Yeah. So when I finished my master's degree, I wasn't quite ready to get back into academia. So I thought I would do a research project instead. And I got the opportunity to write this book, and it's about the culinary history of Denver from 1856 to 2018. And each chapter is a pivotal chef or movement or something that happened to move the trajectory along through a historical narrative. I start out with Native Americans and I end with food waste and everybody in between. In fact, I could write a whole new volume now because most of the restaurants that are in this book are closed or closing because of the COVID problem.
Right.
So it's a really interesting time to be in the restaurant business, and the wine business is struggling too.
Well, you definitely have a lot to talk about in your class, and I'm really glad you were able to provide this introduction to our students. Is there anything else you think that they should know about you or the class before they decide to sign up?
Definitely. The reason that I think this class is great for international studies and it's cross-listed with communications is because with everything that's happening in wine right now and climate change and COVID, we're moving into emerging markets. And the consumer is very stubborn. They don't want to deviate from that California Cabernet or that Burgundy from France. In order for the wine business to survive, they're going to have to be trained to embrace new grapes and new wine regions. And the people that need to do that are communication people, or public relations people, or marketing people, international studies people, are going to have to rebrand the entire global wine industry, which is a $340 billion industry that's going to crumble very quickly without some intervention. So for students who are in these majors, it's a great opportunity to go into something they might not have thought about. Say the wine business.
Absolutely. So for students who are interested, these classes are INTS 4710, cross-listed with Communication 4700. This is an extended studies class, so they're not going to find it in the normal place in their portal, I understand. Is that right?
That's what I understand. I think the way that most students are signing up is with their advisors.
Okay.
So talking with their advisors, they need to know that call number for the class and then sign up through their advisors to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah. So international studies students, you can work with me or Dr. Allison Shaw. We can get you registered for this class. I think there is a way to search for it in the portal, but you have to look in a certain place, and we'll provide instructions in the description of this video for how to do that. And then communication students, you can work with Dr. E.J. Yoder or Dr. Yvette Bueno-Olson, and also get registered for the class that way. So Simone, thank you so much for giving us an overview of the class. Sounds exciting, important, informative.
Very important, very important topic.
Yeah, so, well, excellent. So if there's any questions, I'm gonna include your CU Denver email in the description below, and students can contact you directly. And looking forward to another successful run of your course.
Great.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you for wine.
All right, take care, bye-bye.
Thank you.